Timothy Olyphant was in Transformers.
Timothy Olyphant was not in Transformers. It was just Josh Duhamel. It was his fucking tulpa.
Okay, calm down. Don't chimp out on me, dude.
No, listen, he's been on this shit. Shut up. He's been on this shit
on me, dude.
all
You're
fucking week.
Out right now.
He's been on this shit
all
fucking week.
I don't know.
Timothy Olyphant's in Transformers.
I don't know
it's like, I wish he was in Transformers.
I don't
Timothy
know what you're
Olyphant
talking
was in
about.
Transformers.
Shut the fuck up.
Jesse,
No, it's
Logan
fucking
Lerman
Josh
was
Duhamel.
not in Transformers. That was Timothy Olyphant.
First of all, fuck you. Logan Lerman should be in Transformers. He's a fucking great actor and he's hot as hell. Second of all, so is Timothy Olyphant.
But he wasn't.
So should he be?
He was not.
No, it was Josh
Timothy
Duhamel.
Olyphant.
It wasn't Logan Lerman. It was Timothy Olyphant.
Timothy Olyphant. I don't know why you think it's Logan Lerman.
Fuck you, cocksuckers.
It's Timothy Olyphant.
Fuck you, cocksuckers.
You goddamn chimp. What are you doing?
Cocksucker. No, Josh Duhamel was in Transformers, and they were not in fucking elementary school and all grown up. You fucking bitch.
Timothy Olyphant was in Transformers.
Timothy Olyphant was not in Transformers.
Timothy Olyphant showed up in the fucking like Mandalorian and Boba Fett show. So
now that he actually did.
He was also in Rugrats All Grown Up.
And he was reprising his role in both of those as his characters from Transformers.
I think this is a great time for the audience to know
With
that,
this, we're not using this as the
I've
intro
been drinking
bit.
again.
We're not using that as the intro bit.
Screaming about Timothy Olyphant.
We're not. You might want to save that bit for when we have a usable intro bit.
God damn it! Well, when's the fucking?
When we're not talking about Timothy Olyphant.
Timothy Olyphant's name sounds a lot like Elephant. Elephant
does.
is a movie involving a school shooting that is supposed to represent Columbine. That movie was followed up by Gus Van Sant's Last Days. I was in a store the other day, and it was called Kurt Cobain's Last Days, and he is not the main character in Last Days because it's not an actual biopic about Kurt Cobain. The movie's not even called that. It says that right on the cover it's called Gus Van Sant's Last Days. So why is it in the store it says Kurt Cobain's Last Days? It doesn't make any sense. I don't like it.
What was the store?
I'm not going to say that.
Okay, but like, don't say the name of the store. Like, what kind of a store was it? Was it a movie store,
we can,
a record store?
We can bleep it out.
It was a store.
Okay, but like, I need to know like what kind. Was it?
You know, you were there.
Yes,
you know
you told
what kind
me,
of store
and
it was.
I forgot.
See, look.
Was it?
And now this isn't a usable opening bit anymore.
Yeah. Anyway, so this week we watched Clerks. We just got done watching it, directed by Kevin Smith, his directorial debut from 1994. I think they filmed it 1993 over the course of 21 consecutive days, with 2 pickup days, as he described, which I think that was like a couple scenes at RST Video and then like a couple things that are outside that he did. But yeah, so Kevin Smith, this was on my list. Was this on anyone else's list?
It might have
was
been
not on my
mine.
list.
Might have been on yours. Okay, I know it was on mine because I'm the Kevin Smith fanboy. It's very apparent. So yeah. So, what'd you guys think rewatching it? When's the last time you guys watched it?
What?
I watched it the last time. It was probably a couple years ago, but it's a fantastic movie. It's just great. Everything about it, and it. There's so many things that it technically does wrong. But it doesn't matter because that's not what the movie is.
Yeah, I would agree. I think for me, despite the fact that every time I rewatch it, there's always probably one minor flaw I find in it. But like the movie has just so much charm that I'm willing to easily overlook any of it. I just love that it's just a guy who made a movie with a bunch of his friends. I just think that's such a great story. Yeah,
and he continues to keep all of them employed, either by having them star in his films to today, which we'll talk about later. Some of them are kind of shitty. Or he employs them at a fucking comic book shop. Yep. Like the editor of this film, one of the guys who's the background actor for like 4 different characters, like the other producer of the film. All of them, all they do now is just work in his fucking comic book shop. They just run his comic book shop, and that's kind of weird.
Keep forgetting he has a comic book shop.
And Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash.
Yeah.
There's a whole fucking show on AMC called Comic Book Men about it. It's like Pawn Stars with comic books.
Yeah, I remember.
It's really stupid.
I remember when I was in high school and like I watched Walking Dead, like because this is when my family was trying to be supportive of me, like being a nerd and shit. They'd be like, "Oh, like let's watch this. It sounds cool. It's got Kevin Smith." And I watched it, and like I didn't say anything because it was like family bonding time. But I was like, "This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen."
It's like
in my
watching
life.
Stan Lee's superheroes.
It's so gross. It's just like, how much money can I get for this action figure?
You mean Stan Lee's Who Wants to Be a Superhero?
No, I was talking about Stan Lee's real life superheroes.
Oh, see, for me, I really like Stan Lee's who wants to be a superhero.
Fat Mama. Mama.
Which
I'm here to
do you guys
save
know
the day.
Trisha Paytas is in that?
Wait, hang
It's
on,
one of her
bro.
first
What?
television appearances ever. She's
When she
called
was like 12?
No, she was like 20. Her superhero's name was Limelight because she wanted to be the center of attention at all costs.
That's a
bad guy.
super villain.
It's prophetic,
Also-
isn't it? It's horrifyingly prophetic.
Stan Lee is relevant because his best film appearance was in Mallrats.
Which is a Mallrats, also directed, there it is right there, but also directed by Kevin Smith. So back to this movie. What's really interesting about it is that Kevin Smith, he was working at a clerk at the Quick Stop, which is actually the name of the convenience store that it takes place in, and he hated his fucking life. And he had gone, I think, a year and a half, maybe 2 years to film school in Canada, and he dropped out. He had like one short film or something that didn't really do well. It was inspired by Glenn or Glenda, I believe. Yeah, weird, interesting. Interesting choice, Kevin Smith.
which brings it back to Chucky.
Shut the fuck up about Chucky.
Which also brings it back.
No one has any context for Chucky in the podcast. This was before even Jesse wasn't even here for that. He was like going to get food when you were ranting about Chucky. Anyways, ignore Chucky.
No.
Don't think about Chucky. Don't think about Chucky. We're back to the Kevin Smith thing.
I've been privy to his Chucky.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You work with him. Yeah, he's
I
been
do.
ranting about
I
it.
fucking
Sorry.
love Chucky.
We work together.
I'm sorry, Clerks.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, god damn it, this is awful. So, Kevin Smith, he fucking drops out of film school. Didn't do a good job there either. Doesn't have a lot of stuff, and he writes a movie about what he knows, which is his fucking job that he hates, being 22 and having no direction in his life, and having ruined a long-term relationship with a girlfriend that had cheated on him. And having some friends who were fucking townies who were doing nothing with their life. And he had recently watched Richard Linklater's Slacker, and he went, what if I just did that? But instead of like getting people in town who are like that and kind of just filming them, I write it all. And they all sound like me and how I talk.
And instead of getting it funded, I'll put it all on a credit card.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Sold his comic books and like maxed out like a bunch of credit cards.
Yeah, he signed up for like 6 fucking credit cards and maxed them all out. It is so insane that he has a film career and that this worked out because there's every reason this man should have killed himself.
Yeah.
And he should have been in crippling debt and been found as a stain on a wall.
I'm pretty sure in one of those Q&As that he does, somebody asked him, they were like, well, since like you went into all this debt, what was your plan if it didn't succeed? And he was like, I was going to be in debt. I don't know.
yeah. So, and he also, people ask him all the time or try to use his story as an example of like, well, you can just do it yourself. He always tells people, do not. He's like, I do not understand. I was so lucky that the fine people over at Miramax, like Harvey Weinstein, saw my film, and Harvey Weinstein personally shopped it around to everyone because he believed in me. Harvey Weinstein gripped me from perdition and raised me up into the film industry. The great Harvey Weinstein.
You really
did
should not
this.
be using the word grip and Harvey Weinstein in the same sentence, my dude.
And he was one of the people that was kind of quick to speak up about the Harvey Weinstein stuff.
No, he was.
And
He
he was like, that guy made my career.
And I hate it, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, that's
The other thing
worst
too.
part about it.
The other thing too with Harvey Weinstein, with like Kevin Smith, is that like he didn't like once. It was by his third movie when he realized the kind of stuff that Harvey Weinstein does, but he didn't know the extent of it.
Yeah.
First off, like Harvey made it very clear to women, but a lot of men in Hollywood didn't quite. They knew he skeezed on women, but they didn't know. He knew well enough to keep that from people who might actually have power to do something, unfortunately.
But to roll it back to Clerks and it being about Kevin Smith's relationship with or his view on relationships and stuff, I really feel like this, Mallrats, and Chasing Amy are like an emotional trilogy.
No, actually no. And I'll go one step further. Jersey Girl.
Oh.
Sure.
You had Jersey Girl. There's a reason the View Askew-verse is what it's called because his production company at the time.
Wait, is Jersey Girl part of it?
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
It's a part of it, yeah.
I've never seen Jersey Girl.
Okay, so basic premise of this movie. You have Dante Hicks and you have Randall Fine? Is it Randall Fine?
Randall.
Yeah,
it's
Randall.
Dante and Randall.
Dante and Randall. And Dante works at the Quick Stop, and Randall works at RST Video, which is right next door. They're best friends since high school, since they were like freshmen or something like that, you know. And They're 22. They got nowhere in life. And Dante gets called in on his fucking day off. And he's like, I'm not supposed to work today. And he goes in, and it's just the shittiest fucking day at work. It's also wild that everything in this movie happens in a, like, 14-hour timeline. Every single scene. But, yeah, no. So, like, it's kind of his views on a relationship as it goes. In this movie, Dante is with a girl named Veronica who's a college student who she's kind of like on the up and up and she's like doing well, but he's not over his ex that he dated all through high school. He's in a state of arrested development.
And Veronica's very much in love with him.
And Veronica's incredibly in love with him. I mean, he was the 37th and last dick that she sucked. Not anymore after that.
No, but she says that she's gonna.
She's only had to. Oh,
You just wait
like,
till
she's
you
gonna
see how many
triple
dicks
her
I
fucking-
suck.
She said, "What was it? I'm gonna make the hookers in Times Square blush with how many cocks I'm gonna suck now." There's problematic language in this movie. First off, it was the 90s, and so the F slur gets thrown around quite a bit by especially Jason Mewes' character,
Yeah.
Jay.
Which it probably still does in real life. But
Yeah, probably.
Well, wait, isn't Jason Mewes bi? I remember hearing that somewhere.
I don't know. I know Harley Quinn is.
I feel like
Harley Quinn Smith, the daughter of Kevin Smith.
Yeah, you
by
gotta
the way.
preface
so
this shit,
cringe.
man. Hi, I named my daughter Thorpentor.
Honestly, though,
This
naming
is
your
my other
daughter
daughter, Xena, the warrior princess.
naming your daughter Serpentor, Chad fucking move.
I knew a guy-
Chad ass fucking move.
That's just big dick energy.
It is
But no, like,
evil Lynn.
so another thing about this movie, so the relationship, he's not over his ex, and it's a lot of the emotional maturity of him not being able to move on. That's like the through line of the film. Mallrats, not going to get into it too much, but it's about a guy kind of realizing that he was doing that. These two guys realizing they were doing that and fixing it. And then the emotional immaturity, and this isn't going to be another episode we'll talk about Chasing Amy, in which in this movie, he has a scene with his girlfriend where she says, I've only had sex with 3 people. You were the last one, by the way. You're a slut because you've had sex with 11 people. And then he comes to find out that she has sucked 27 dicks.
37.
37 dicks. And he's very upset about it. Very immature move, by the way. And a hypocritical move because he's had sex with 11 people, but she's gone down on 37. He thinks that's infinitely worse. And that's kind of like a through line of like,
But it was
movies
also
Chasing Amy.
hypocritical of her to get angry at him because she said, I didn't freak out on you, but she did. She hit him.
Yeah.
She called him a pig and everything.
Yeah.
So it's like they're all 22. Like that's the
Yeah.
other thing to remember. It's like they're all kind of immature. But yeah, this movie, I don't know. It meanders around and it doesn't really do anything, but it also kind of keeps moving. It's like a series of vignettes that are tied together by. Okay, you know how in like Mr. Show with Bob and David,
Yeah.
for anyone who might have seen it, all the sketches kind of like they're individual sketches, but when one ends, it just bleeds into
Yeah.
another one seamlessly, and it keeps doing that for the entire show. Clerks kind of does that.
Yeah.
So like all the vignettes are tied together, and like some of them get called back way later on, like the whole thing with the old man who dead, like Caitlyn fucks his dead body in the bathroom. Like that
Or
is
the-
2 chapters before when he's set up going into the bathroom to shit himself and jerk off to death.
Yeah.
But David's actually got over here written down all the names of the chapters. There are 9 chapters if you want to read them out.
Well, there's actually like 11 or 12, but 2 of them are just character names, so I didn't write them down. I wrote down the ones that were not character names. We got vilification, syntax, vulgarity, purgation, malaise, harbinger, perspicacity, paradigm, whimsy, quandary, lamentation, juxtaposition, catharsis, and denouement.
That's like 14.
Is it like 14? Yeah. Anyways, so this movie, you might think the names Dante and Randall are like very specific, and why are there chapter names for everything? And that's because this whole like film is the Divine Comedy. Because Kevin Smith he realized that like a lot of people, like a lot of their great successes are essentially taking a known story and using it thematically to build upon something else. He's a huge fucking Star Wars fan. He loves George Lucas. If you watch this movie, constant references to George Lucas and Star Wars. It's very apparent that he loves Star Wars. And that's something that him as a film student would have noticed that George Lucas did. He would have watched Akira Kurosawa films in school and realized that's what George Lucas did. So he's like, I'm going to do this. And so he used the Divina de Commedia, which is Italian for the Divine Comedy, written by Dante Alighieri in, I believe, the 12th century. Could be wrong. He was a epic poet. And TLDR, it's also about a guy who is immature and can go over a woman because Dante Alighieri in real life met the beautiful Beatrice, and he was too fucking nervous to say a single word to her, but he fell madly in love. Years later, he found out she died. And so he wrote a fanfic about what if I went through hell to go rescue her. And along the way, he is guided by his favorite poet ever, Virgil, through all the different layers of hell. And then he has to climb Mount Purgatorio, make some realizations about and reflections upon his own life. And then he arrives in Paradiso in the end, in which he talks to the celestial bodies and talks to God and everything. And he gets a better, broader view of like life, meaning, and existence and everything, right? Well, in this movie, Randall is Virgil. I know it doesn't it kind of makes sense. It's not the same name, but it doesn't even really sound. But that's why he's named Randall. Yeah. Because Virgil does sound like not correct. I believe Virgil was the original name for Randall, and he's like, this is fucking dumb. I can't. Mm-hmm. So he went Randall. That's a name that works.
I mean, Randall definitely functions in the same way as Virgil does, as it kind of takes him on a tour through this emotional journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, and Randall also is like, I think you've mentioned this before, but like, sort of serves the same purpose as like he's comfortable in the
so in the Divine Comedy, Dante, when he is being toured through all of hell by Virgil, he's like, what the fuck? You're just fine with being here? And he's like,
it's chill, man.
He's like, you get used to hell. What's the difference between hell and other places? It's the same thing, different day, different scenery. And that's kind of like Dante's or like Randall's kind of view throughout the entire movie. He's very laissez-faire. He doesn't care that much, but he also does. The thing is, it's like Virgil and Randall both care a lot about Dante, and they want the best for Dante, even though it might not seem like it. The entire fucking movie, Dante is engaging in these. He's so caught up on every little bit of life, and he can't move forward. But Randall's just telling him, like, dude, just what does it fucking matter? Yeah. Just chill, vibe, go play hockey, steal Gatorades, fuck the customers. What's the point of them?
Ironically, Ben Affleck, who is a friend of Kevin Smith, basically takes this dynamic and uses it in Good Will Hunting.
Mm-hmm.
That's also the relationship between and what Randall says when they're sitting there on the floor of the coffee or on the floor of the Quick Stop, where he's just like quit, move on.
Shit or get off the pot.
Yeah, shit or get off the pot. And that is almost exactly the last speech that Ben Affleck's character gives.
Well, yeah, no, like Good Will Hunting.
My favorite part of every day is how you like them apples? I don't remember how fucking.
I knock on the door. I hope you're not there.
I hope you're not there. Yeah.
But Good Will Hunting and this movie are the same fucking movie. It's just
Robin Williams.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean they're also
he died jerking off like the old man.
Yeah. And
anyways,
it's also, I mean, because it is like Matt Damon's character is a character that could have everything, but chooses to stay.
Yeah, exactly. And same with Dante. Like, it's made clear by Veronica, by Caitlin, by Randall, by every other character he encounters. They're like, Dante, you are smart and you can totally make it out of here. Why the fuck are you working as a clerk? And for a fact, Kevin Smith, he had heard that. And yet again, he was a college dropout. He went for 2 years. Dante was a college dropout. He went to school for a little bit. That's how he met Veronica. It's kind of established. And she's constantly hounding him. You should get back into going to school. You're wasting yourself away here. And in a way, that is very much Kevin Smith's situation at the time. He was just, he was wasting his life. Except the difference between the two characters is Dante never does anything to step out of it. And we know this going forward to the next two fucking movies that are in continuity with that specific character. But Kevin Smith did end up, he maxed out his credit cards, and he took a big leap of faith, and he was like, fuck it, I'm making this movie. There was something you mentioned we were watching that I want you to go ahead and bring up. about our film school experience in reflecting with this movie.
Yeah, I mean, watching the movie, I mean, again, and this is something I noticed when I've watched it before, but every time you watch it, it sticks out, is that it is a 2-hour-long student film, and it's really good, and as a result, every student film I've ever seen is this. It's just a scene from Clerks. And it's not every single one. I've seen some good ones. And I'm not even saying that these are bad, but oftentimes it's just like down to the typewriter font. Like down to like the title cards, down to having characters with vaguely religious names,
Down to being in black and white.
down to down to being
shot
flat.
Bro, I'm guilty of all of this.
I know,
I'm gonna be
same.
like we all did this shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's how it goes. I mean,
no shade being thrown.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
I think as a film student, as someone who wants to be a filmmaker in any kind of aspect, it is your duty
It's a rite of
To
passage.
make a shitty student film that is Clerks.
aping Clerks and
Aping
Slackers.
I wrote several screenplays that were just very Clerks inspired.
Oh,
So-
Clerk. You could say Clerks is the divine comedy for film.
Yeah. Yeah,
And it all comes back around, ladies and
in
gentlemen.
the great practice of Kevin Smith copying what George Lucas did,
And
and
also,
copying
just
Joseph
like-
Campbell.
And
also-
honestly,
and also, just like George Lucas, it's like poetry, so it rhymes.
It sort of rhymes.
I want to go back to the George
if
Lucas.
you made $1 billion ripping off Clerks, I feel like Kevin Smith would be like, "That's fucking awesome."
No, he'd be happy.
Yeah.
That's the other thing about Kevin Smith. He makes mid to bad films now, but hey, you just gotta love him.
He's a fun guy.
He's a
I
he's
love his
just
Q&As. They're
yeah,
so
he's
funny.
great. And then also like, I mean, yeah, he would be so happy for you. He holds no hatred for anyone for any reason in his goddamn heart.
Except for He-Man fans. He wants those fuckers to die.
Okay, good reason though.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. He-Man fans should
Straight
die.
He-Man fans.
Oh,
Gay
yes,
He-Man
yes.
fans.
If you're a He-Man
real
fan and
fans.
you
Yeah,
can
for
accept that
real.
He-Man is gay as hell, then you're cool. You're cool.
That's
or
the
if you're-
only cool people that like He-Man.
Or if you're a She-Ra fan. She-Ra
What were you
fans-
gonna say about George Lucas?
Oh, George Lucas. So you mentioned that he like makes references to Star Wars. I really only like remember the one scene where he's talking about like the independent contractors on the second Death Star. I think that's the only time he mentioned Star Wars.
Well,
in
in this movie, every
In this movie, yeah, in
every
other
other
movies,
movie
yeah,
he's
he
ever
does.
done, it's just he cranks up the Star
Oh,
Wars
Well,
meter.
and that's the thing is it's like, and I guess like Mallrats especially sort of gives him that reputation, but he's got this reputation as like a nerd filmmaker. Like he's a filmmaker who's like a nerd. He's into nerd shit, and it's like he's not. I mean, like he's into it, but like he doesn't like he's not annoying about it. Like he likes the shit and he references.
Well, he
it,
gets
but
annoying about it
He
over
gets
time.
annoying about it over
What's-
time for sure, but he uses it in like interesting ways. Like that whole conversation about what about these independent contractors in Death Star, like. That's some bullshit that like we would fucking do.
No, that's
like, on our
I
day
think
off.
that this is something that's kind of like a trope to say about Kevin Smith's writing style and his movies, but I think it's very true. His characters talk like you and your friends hanging out
Yeah.
and just like watching movies or talking about the movies you like or the comic books you're reading or the video games you're playing. Like,
What do you think a Gungan's dick looks like? That kind of shit.
yeah, exactly.
and
The last great Kevin Smith nerd joke is Blunt Man and Chronic.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Blunt Man and
Mark
Chronic.
Hamill in being a part of it in everything is
How many people
the
wanna
dong
kick someone
knocker.
ass?
and what's particularly interesting about all the stuff that we were talking about is he was actually. I think it's important to talk about the sort of the context and like of what this movie did for like really mainstreaming for better and definitely for worse nerd culture.
Yeah.
Because it was one of the first movies that where you have characters really openly talking about nerdy things, right? And then you go on and see filmmakers who would be inspired by that kind of thing. People like Judd Apatow
Yeah.
and Edgar Wright are two prominent examples of that. There are many others, I would say, but those are the two most
Yeah.
prominent
See,
ones.
I
but-
don't know. Does Edgar Wright really reference nerdy things?
I mean,
Yes,
Hot
he
Fuzz.
does.
Yeah.
Hot
Also,
Fuzz. They
look
talk,
at- look
talk
at-
about action movies a lot.
Look at his earliest,
But
well,
that's-
one of his earliest works, Spaced. That entire TV show is
Are we just talking
constant
about?
nerdy references and stuff.
But yeah, he's capable of it for sure. I just like.
Well, it's not that
it-
everyone does it. It's just that like it made it more acceptable, or more, it kind of broke the mold.
But
Yeah.
are we talking about referencing nerd culture, or just talking about
No.
referential media?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like before Clerks, when people would reference like nerd media and stuff, it's like they were the dorks, they were the nerds, they were the laughing stocks, as it should be.
Okay,
and
you're on a movie podcast right now.
I know.
You're gonna need to calm yourself down.
I
a little bit.
don't know if I buy it. I mean, it might be true. I'm thinking in my head, like Edgar Wright, like Scott Pilgrim has a lot of nerdy references.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so-
But
and Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
Nick Frost's character, he just talks about action movies and action movie tropes.
Yeah, also
a lot.
Was Shaun of the
Yeah,
Dead?
but I wouldn't
Shaun of the
say-
Dead is full of it too.
Is
And yet
it?
again, yes.
I don't remember any. in
talking
Shaun of
about
the Dead.
movie tropes, though, I feel like that's been in.
Sure, I mean that
shits
goes all the way
forever.
back to what is it?
There's Scream, even earlier than that too.
Well,
Yeah.
no, that goes
Last
although-
Action Hero.
Last
I mean,
Action
yes,
Hero.
Yes, Scream is
No,
after.
it goes
Clerks,
way
so.
farther back with Fellini.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it goes all the way to Fellini. Like he was doing that shit. So I mean, to be fair,
And I mean,
but he wasn't making dick jokes.
Clerks was.
yes, he was.
Was he?
Yes. Have you
See-
watched any Fellini
Yeah,
film?
you
It's
were
just
saying.
highbrow Italian
The-
dick jokes. Just because they do the dick jokes like the bean is does not make it not a dick joke.
I don't mean to argue. It's just that to me what stuck out that Clerks is influential in, because I've never seen this before, but while watching it this time, I was like, Clerks feels like the blueprint, not the blueprint, but like the progenitor to the modern workplace comedy.
Oh, it definitely
Yeah.
does. I mean, because it also takes the setting of a comedy and puts it in the fucking workplace. That's a big part. I think as well.
I just
'cause
mean
he
how
made-
it's set up.
No,
because
no, I know, I
workplace
know.
comedies have been a thing. But
Well, yeah, but like, well, here's the thing that gets me the most about it. David mentioned earlier Judd Apatow. Every Judd Apatow movie, every like Adam McKay movie, all of the knockoffs of those through the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, all of those comedies. Those blueprints are all the way back down to as
Yeah.
far back as I can find it would be Clerks, where it's just dudes standing around, nothing's flashy about the camera work, it's just people delivering snappy, witty dialogue back and forth, back and forth. Because like the jokes in this movie, some of them really just go right over your head if you're not paying attention because they're just so fast. Like
Yeah.
him and Veronica will be talking, and like he'll say something, she'll retort, he'll retort again, and then they move on. But if you're not,
Yeah.
and it's like so fucking quick with it. Randall does it too with Caitlin at one point. Dante and Randall do it the entire time they're talking to each
Yeah.
other. And there's also like on top of that, there are these like really great and dumb background gags that are so cheesy and should not work. But for some reason work every time for me. Like in the middle of I believe it's when Dante is being served papers for selling cigarettes to a minor. In the background, Jay is just eating a Twinkie. He's just stealing a Honey Bun and a Twinkie and shoving them in his mouth. And he just holds on that during the dialogue. Because it's even Kevin Smith acknowledging, this is boring. I need to make this more fun. And you can also see film school all over this. In film school, for those who don't know, and here's a little bit of film stuff for you today, because this is the point of the podcast, so they introduce you to film concepts and kind of learn things and stuff like that. There's a thing called the kitchen sink shot in film when it comes to editing and also just editing in camera, which the idea is you're going to go ahead and you're going to film something that you can cut to that doesn't matter the continuity of it. You can play the audio over it, and it can allow the stitching of two different takes together, or if there's something that didn't look right, but the sound was good, you cut to that. You cut to the kitchen sink. It's a classic trope. This movie is just so full of kitchen sink shots. The amount of times you see people's shoes for no fucking reason, or he just closes in on the cat, and they're just like talking, you're like, yeah. It's so full of it.
You could say it's the kitchen sink and
It's all-
everything but the
Drink your
kitchen sink.
fucking beer.
It's almost like
fuck you.
It's almost how artsy documentaries of the '90s were made. Like
Oh,
Dark
yeah.
Days, like a lot of the dialogue for Dark Days is just over, just random shots of stuff.
They're they're little.
Because it's like you can't see anything. It's completely pitch black down there. What are you gonna record except for when you get a flashlight out and point it at the fucking dog that's down there?
And the one time that they're like holding on takes is like when they're like, I guess the surface, and they're like, going through stuff. Because I remember there was the one guy who's, digging through the DVDs, talking about what he could find.
This is so irrelevant to Clerks.
I don't know what you're even referencing.
Oh, Dark
right
Days.
now.
Dark Days.
Dark Days. It's
a-
on my list. We'll watch it eventually.
It is a documentary about people living in the Liberty Tunnel under New York. They were
Oh.
they built a shanty town in an abandoned subway
Just
tunnel.
like Clerks.
just like Clerks.
Just like Clerks. Jay and Silent Bob. Speaking of which,
Uh,
It is in black and white.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
It is
Jay
in
and
black and
Silent Bob, just like bounding off of that, the two characters of Jay and Silent Bob have been like elevated to like a weird mythic status in his mind because it's his self-insert character of Silent Bob, who always in every movie, and it includes this one, where you have one salient monologue or one salient line that he says the whole time, but the rest of the time he's silent. He brings up a good point in this movie. Silent Bob looks at him and he goes, "Not every girl would bring you lasagna to work, man.
Most of them will just cheat on you.
Most of them just cheat on you." Which is a little problematic, but to be fair,
You get the point.
Yeah, you get
He's
the
a guy
point.
that hangs out with Jay.
He's a guy that hangs out with Jay. Exactly. And Jay is very problematic. Okay, but Jay. Okay, here's the thing. Jason Mewes, I love him. He can be very funny. He can be very fucking obnoxious. In the first Clerks movie, though, I think he is funny the entire time.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why is that Jason Mewes was this like 13-year-old kid who hung around Kevin Smith and his friends because he was like the younger brother of someone. And like he was just so fucking weird. They would tell him to just like go down on an arcade machine, and he would start eating out the roller ball on a fucking asteroids machine, and like he would just do it. And so like he was like, I'm writing him as a character. So Jason Mewes, someone who definitely had no right being an actor, he wasn't acting in this movie. And the best part is that they keep in his fucking line breaks and mistakes. Because like, yeah. And like
They
near
do
the
that.
end,
They
he
do that
literally
all
goes-
the time.
Yeah, like at one point he's like trying to give Dante advice. He's like, it's like my grandma always says, why get the plate? Shit, fuck, I fucked up. Hold on. And it's just like,
And you
it
don't
kind of
even
works.
notice.
It works in the character.
And then it's so fucking funny because he still doesn't remember what the whole line is. So he goes, "What do you got if you got nothing on your plate?" I don't know. She's senile as fuck. She was pissing and shitting on herself.
And it's so funny that he starts from there, and then him and Kevin Smith are asked to present the self-transforming Optimus Prime toy. Truly, they reached the peak of human civilization.
Yeah, and the other favorite thing from Jay and Silent Bob's characters is they're in Dogma, and I'm pretty sure
that is
Dogma
on my
fucks.
list.
But in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which is not a great movie, but
No.
it is kind.
It's awesome.
It is pretty funny.
It rules. That movie's
That opening scene
clit.
where it's just like the opening scene where it's just like them in front
As babies,
No,
Fuck.
it's not the one. Maybe I'm thinking of a
Fuck.
different movie. It might be
Fuck.
Clerks 2. It's the one, and it just opens up on that. It's like an extended version of the first shot you see of them in this movie, but it's in color.
Is it the one where they're like, fuck,
I think it's
Yes.
fuck,
Mother,
fuck,
fuck,
mother, fuck,
Yeah.
Smoking weed, smoking
noise,
weed.
noise.
I think
Rolling
it's
fatty,
$15,
smoking
little
bud.
man. Put that shit in my hand. If that, I'm not gonna sing the whole thing. No,
Oh,
that is
yo.
that is Strikes
My
Back.
jungle love.
Oh we.
Yeah,
Is that the dudes in that Prince movie?
That's my favorite Jay
Yeah,
and Silent
Purple
Bob
Rain.
moment.
yeah, that's your
Hands
favorite
down.
one.
Yeah.
My favorite one has got to come from somewhere in Dogma. Because like I think one of my favorite moments with him ever was probably in Dogma when Chris Rock's character falls out of the fucking sky and like he's like, dude, a naked dude just fell out of the sky, and he's like, can I get something to wear here? Silent Bob starts taking off his coat. He goes, dude, his face is gonna be rubbing inside your armor, dude. We'll talk about that movie another time.
well,
right?
there's
Obviously, we won't discuss this, but the speech from Chasing Amy.
Yeah, the whole reason why
Yeah.
Chasing Amy's called that. We'll talk about that another time. That movie is on my list.
the sign on the back of the car said "Critters of Hollywood." You dumb fuck.
What?
From fucking Strikes Back.
What?
When
I've
they're looking at the back of the car.
I've only
Speaking of which, in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, there is a good will hunting joke in it.
Yep.
They're like filming the sequel or
The
something.
sequel.
Goodwill Hunting too. Yeah.
And they got the same guy.
They got Gus Van
They
Sant
got
as a
gu-
cameo.
And he's literally like, yeah, sure, action, and he's like fanning himself with money. It's so dumb.
How
but-
you like these apples? Well, he shoots him with the guns, right?
Yeah, they shoot him with the guns in that fake movie.
Spoilers
Wasn't there a thing
for the
about
fake-
that
for
movie
the
where
bit.
they were gonna have a thing where Jay busted and it went through the roof of an RV or something or a trailer, but then they were like, no, you can't do that because we're gonna do that in the movie Hancock. It's gonna be a gag in Hancock, and so Kevin Smith cut it from the movie, and then and then Hancock cut it from the movie.
I think
Kevin
Jay
Smith.
and Silent Bob Strikes Back was in production way before
It was
Hancock.
like, it was like 2004.
I don't know.
Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back was like 2002, right?
I have no
2003.
idea.
I don't know.
I remember there is a bust.
It was post 9/11, unlike Clerks, which is very pre 9/11 in its tendencies and mentalities.
So Randall's supposed to be the voice of reason more so than Dante, and so Dante has the argument that, or Randall has the argument that these private contractors or independent contractors were innocent civilians that were killed on the Death Star, and Dante disagrees and says, well, no, they deserved it, and then they get into an argument, and you're led to believe that Randall is being seen as the voice of reason, but then you have the contractor, the roofer, who chimes in, and I don't know, that's a little bit of the magic of Clerks, is that it's not like dichotomous. It's not Dante's right, Randall's wrong, Randall's right, Dante's wrong. It's someone in the room is right.
Yeah.
But you don't know who it is.
Because
sometimes
in any given point, any given scene, either or both Randall and Dante are assholes.
Yeah.
Everyone in this fucking movie is an asshole.
Yeah.
Except for the roofer.
And Silent Bob.
Except for Veronica.
Well, okay.
Yeah, Veronica's a little bit of an asshole.
Yeah, a little bit.
She's
yeah.
kind of a fucking asshole, but also
She sucked
to be
37
fair,
dicks and hit a guy for sleeping with 11 women.
It's
like
it's a bit of a double standard. It's a bit of a double standard. Now, granted, he would have deserved the slap afterwards after he acted like an asshole about it.
Yeah.
But you know, like it's like one of those things. It's like her reaction to him learning about her. Fuck him. She's kind of right.
Yeah.
This is
How she acted originally?
This is also just generally kind of a thing with Kevin Smith movies, is that the female characters are a little bit more level-headed than the male characters, who are very impulsive,
Very immature.
very
I mean,
immature.
You know, this
Flawed
Not-
in their own right, sure,
not
but
to get
definitely still,
not to get like parasocial or anything like this, but being the fanboy of Kevin Smith that I am, if you read my screenplays, you would definitely tell. But
Mine too.
yeah, but his mother is like the guiding light of his life, and she's always been this like rational like voice of reason for him, and so I would say that that's probably like why all of the female characters in his movies are kind of the voices of reason. No matter what kind of shitty vitriolic things the male characters say, almost every time the female characters are just right though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, be it Mallrats with them shitting on what's her name's character for also being a promiscuous. Well, it's a lot of time we're shitting on women for being promiscuous, but like she's shit on in that movie for being promiscuous and whatnot. For like getting like I think a threesome at a Halloween party.
Well, also, wasn't she
and, like,
underage?
That was a different character.
I'm fucking stupid.
But also she's also promiscuous, and she's shown to be, they shit on her too. They're all really like misogynistic and shitty, but in the end, every female character, everything they ever say, they're always fucking right. They're always ultimately right. So it's like, part of me is like, these male characters, like I know when I was younger, I looked up to them in the wrong ways. And I think that is like the asterisk that you have to put next to a Kevin Smith film. It goes along with liking Fight Club, as well. Liking a lot of movies like that, where like, yes, it's okay to relate to these characters, but you shouldn't idolize them. It should be kind of a cue in, you need to fix some things. Because relating to Dante or Randall or Brody Bruce or T.S. Or Spanky, or to whatever the fuck the main guy's name in Chasing Amy is.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, just Ben Affleck.
Yeah, he's playing
Congratulations, Benifer, by the way.
Yeah.
Back again.
We stand two legends.
But like, if you relate to any of them, that's okay to relate to them, but you need to pay more attention to the lesson those characters are meant to learn.
Yeah.
Because it's a relatable thing. We all hit that, especially as as men in a society. We kind of all go through a lot of these weird misogynistic points in our lives, and we have these shitty views. We're self-centered and all that stuff, and you need to learn a bit.
Number one,
we are men, and
number
we do
one,
live in a society.
Speaking of a society, do idolize Tyler Durden.
And the Joker.
Do that. Idolize Tyler Durden. But as for like the women in promiscuity, one thing that I think is very charming about Clerks is that, and it's the same way that like his movies feel like an emotional progression if you watch all of them in the order that he made them. And it's like he understands that getting angry at a woman for being a slut is stupid and wrong. But it's almost like he doesn't, in this movie specifically, he doesn't. Younger, it seems like he doesn't fully understand why it's wrong, that it's bad to call a woman a slut, but like he knows that it is.
Yeah. So without spoiling other movies, let's just say in this movie, the lesson that Silent Bob tries to impart onto Dante and pretty much everyone throughout the movie is, and Veronica as well, is that you might think women are sluts, or you might think that they're promiscuous or very shitty, but ultimately at the end of the day, like, she wants to be with you. That's all that really matters.
Yep.
She wants to be with you. That is a through line through most of his fucking movies. And it's kind of interesting, too, when you take into account all of the movies he's ever done, because you see that slow progression in his view towards dating women. And then even when his movies get bad, you start to see this progression when it comes to being a father and having a daughter.
That's what
how that even changes anymore.
That's what Jersey Girl's about specifically.
Yeah, it's literally about that. It's a guy who is like a fucking player and kind of a shitty dude.
Played by Ben Affleck.
Yep. Not really acting there, but like
Really playing against type there, Ben.
Yeah, but he grows up and he realizes like, okay, everything I've ever done up until this point, I can't believe I've ever done that, because that means there's guys out there who are going to do this to my daughter, and I can't take back what I did before, but I can do my best to never allow anything like that again, or like never try to do anything like that. And
go ahead.
And it goes on to like even the shitty film Yoga Hosers.
God.
That is, but like it kind of comes to a T there, because that's his love letter to his daughter. He makes a movie for his daughter to be in with one of her best friends to just vibe and be teenage girls. And while it's a bad movie, it's very unabashedly just celebrating the fact that they're teenage girls having fun and vibing.
That's so fucking funny, because Kanye West, Yay, the album, is about basically the same thing.
Okay, all right. I thought this was going in a different direction.
Absolutely hysterical to me, because I think you could make a correlation between not Jesus Walks, but My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and Dogma, and I think you could draw some connections between some of Kanye's earlier albums to early Kevin Smith.
Wait. College dropout in Clerks!
Oh my God!
Dante's a college dropout! Oh my God! Wait, Mallrats in Graduation!
Wake up, Mr. Smith! Mr. Smith!
Oh, I'm losing my goddamn mind.
That means Chasing Amy is late registration.
No, Chasing Amy is 808s and Heartbreaks. Absolutely.
Oh wait, it is.
It
dude,
is.
100% is. Wait, hold on. Can we be really honest about something here?
Yes.
Have we ever seen Kanye West and Kevin Smith in the same room?
Kanye West is Kevin Smith in blackface.
No. Kevin Smith is Kanye West in whiteface.
We haven't seen them in the same room. First of all, all of us have really
he
peaked the
puts
mics
on the suit.
except for David.
He steps into the suit, into the Kevin Smith suit.
He wears it like a flesh mecha.
He's like,
it's like in Fallout 4 when you get into the power armor.
He's just like, now I'm gonna do He-Man.
Yeah,
the heart attack he
toys.
had on stage was actually just a power failure in the suit. He ran out of fucking fusion cores.
Kanye West had a heart attack on stage?
No, Kevin Smith.
Well, the same person. They're the same person.
Kevin Smith met Kanye West when he had a heart attack on stage?
Yeah, sure.
Cool, hell yeah.
No, when
Whatever you
Kanye
want.
West had the heart attack on stage, Kevin Smith stepped out of his body.
I cannot wait to Photoshop a thumbnail of them morphed together, because it's gonna be cursed, and I'm gonna be real. it's gonna be hard to not make it accidentally seem racist in some way.
Well, no. Here's what you do. Here's what
hard.
you do. No matter what, it's gonna be a little racist. So you just go all the way with it. You Photoshop a black Kevin Smith, but a white Kanye West, and you just have them side by side.
Okay.
You do
No.
You do
No.
You do white Kanye West in like a hockey jersey.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure white Kanye already exists. So you
What
could
if
just
I?
pull
What
from
if
that.
I? What if I like?
Yeah, there's a picture you can
Kanye.
find of white
What if
Kanye.
What if I just like? What is it? A texture map of Kevin Smith, just like kind of like a Minecraft skin. It's a texture map, and then I just take a CAD file or like a Blender file of a mecha, and I just throw that texture of Kevin Smith onto it, and it's just stretched out Kevin Smith on a fucking mech suit.
I feel like it would work better in Roblox.
He would
Oh
look
my
like
God.
Robotnik. He would look like Dr. Robotnik.
He would look like New Jersey Robotnik.
Oh my fucking
Wait.
God.
Okay. All right. This bit for the thumbnail only works if Jason Mewes is there in Shinji's plug suit.
Dude, the best.
you're getting too complicated.
You know, first off, it would have to be Kanye in the plug suit. You dumb shit.
Okay, fine.
Because
Kanye's in the plug suit.
Kanye is the
And
third
Jason
child, you
Mewes-
idiot.
And Jason Mewes is fucking what's her name, the beer drinking chick.
And they fight angels from Dogma.
Yes, Bartleby and Lazarus or whatever the fuck his name was, Loki.
It all comes
Yeah,
together.
Bartleby and Loki,
It's
those are their
all
names.
connected. The Evangelion universe, the Kanye West universe, the Vusk universe, they're all
it's
connected.
The Evangelion.
Wait, guys. Have we seen Hideaki Anno, Kevin Smith, and Kanye West all in the same room before?
I think I have seen Hideaki Anno and Kanye West in the same room.
I don't think so. I don't
Okay.
think so.
Well, I'd Google this, but I don't want to use my phone during the podcast.
So
because
I
wanna
guess
maintain very
it's like the
professionalism.
Eva and Eva 3, where it's two pilots who pilot the Eva at the same time.
And Kevin Smith does have big titties. So it works. he's got a pair of big fat jumblies, so... Well, not anymore. He got real skinny.
I was about to say, after
Yeah.
that, after
He's got a
having a
vegan
heart attack on
podcast.
stage.
He's had like 80 podcasts.
And
He's got a
Kevin
vegan
Smith
podcast
does see
now.
his mother as his guiding light in his
Oh
life.
my God! Oh.
And so does Kanye West!
Okay,
What
no,
the fuck is this?
no,
It really
I know
is
what
all
the thumbnail
connected.
is, and it's Kanye, it's fucking Hideaki Anno, and it's Kevin Smith, and it's like they're on a cork board, and there's fucking red wine and dots and shit connecting them.
God damn it, dude. We have really stumbled
We've cracked
on.
the case.
We've cracked the code. We've stumbled onto something big.
We've hacked into the Matrix.
And
Who else are there?
Hideaki Anno's mom was his guiding light and she died. Oh!
Holy shit! Wait, is Kevin Smith's mom dead? Statistically, I mean.
No, his father died recently, but his mom's still
that's
alive.
really sad.
Yeah.
Wait, did he like his father?
Yeah, it was fine with him. He was just like a stern Catholic man, but like, you know, didn't hate his dad.
They're all the same.
All right,
Catholics?
so we have
Well, we are from Louisville, where there was the Great Catholic Massacre. So I guess you're
Wasn't
you're a
that-
transplant, but you're a real.
We
You're
have
a
to-
real
wait,
Louisvillian
what-
now.
Wasn't that done by the guy in the hat?
The guy in the hat.
The Cat in the Hat, Mike Myers. Yeah, it was. It was
Alan
Michael
Sherman?
Myers. Mike Myers,
No.
Canadian comedian.
No, you
That-
fool! It's the
Hello,
guy from the
Father.
Curious George books. The
Oh,
guy in the yellow
shit,
hat.
the guy
No,
in the
the
yellow
guy
hat,
in the
right.
damn hat who's all over the city.
Yeah, the guy in the yellow hat
with
from
the
Curious
fucking
George.
with the fucking crutch and the fucking
Yes.
kid in his arm. Yeah. Didn't that dude do the Catholic massacre?
No, that's the Corsair. Like.
Didn't he kill all
You
those
told
Catholics?
motherfucker. You told us he did the Catholic massacre.
You guys are morons and didn't listen to me. I said the statue in front of this is very Louisville specific, so I encourage you all to Google facts about Louisville. Just look up our city. It's fine. There's over 2 million people who live here. It's not like I'm doxing shit, but like.
Watch them track down specifically who we are.
Anyways, so the downtown Louisville Public Library, there is a statue in front of it. That is the statue of a man who used to be one of the heads of the city council. Who was a
man
very
in the
important
yellow
member.
hat.
The man in the yellow hat. Well, he probably liked slavery too. But we know one thing: he hated Catholics, and there was the Great Catholic Massacre that happened, in which he rallied a bunch of people together to chase down the Catholics through the streets. They shot them. All the cathedrals downtown still have the bullet holes, and from that night, and then they chased them into one cathedral and set it on fire and killed like 15 people.
See, Christians,
And now we
are
have-
persecuted.
I'm gonna be completely honest.
If you ask a Protestant, like that guy was, Catholics aren't Christian. As someone who was raised Protestant, I was told from a very young age, Catholics aren't Christian. They worship the Mother Mary. They don't worship Jesus and God, which is stupid.
And
That is not true. That is not how that works.
And I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm just gonna keep it real. Hearing all this stuff about the Catholic massacre after the overturning of Roe v. Wade. David, continue.
Anyway,
I'm just
I
saying.
think on that note, what we can really truly get out of that whole story was how we need to incite a religious war amongst the evangelicals in this country.
I love when you know somebody's a Christian, but they don't talk about it a lot. They get quiet kind of about it specifically. And then one day they're like, hey, have you ever read about about like Japanese history?
Oh wait, hang on. Oh boy.
I feel like this comes from
Martin,
personal
is that you?
experience.
Yeah, and every single time I go, I know exactly where this is headed. Because
So-
you see, Christians were actually persecuted. Oh, yeah.
So I just
were
saw
they?
silence for the
Kiss
first
the
time.
rock or something. Meh.
Go step on Jesus' face now.
I would have done it.
Randall would have done it. Randall would have done a little jig on top of Jesus' face.
I would have hit the Dougie on top of
He would have hit
Jesus.
the fucking gritty. Like let's be fucking real about that. Oh, dude.
Find me on top of that Jesus statue.
Dude,
like,
okay, hold on. What would Gen Z clerks be? And it's not yoga hosers, because Kevin Smith is very out of touch.
okay, Gen Z clerks. They work in a fucking weed store,
Well,
right?
I feel like first and foremost,
No.
Yeah, too clean.
Gen Z Clerks would definitely be an A24 film, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would have to be a big box store. It could be at an Amazon warehouse, but there's no customer service there.
Like a Thornton's?
No, I don't even think a gas station. I think it would be like Target employees or something.
Walmart or yeah.
No,
Walmart maybe or
you know,
something like that.
You want to know what I think is even sadder? The only difference between Clerks then and Clerks now, there's no video store next door. That's it.
Yeah.
There's
That's
a Red
it.
Box outside.
Yeah, they work
There's a
at
Red
it.
But there's
Box
not even
outside.
red boxes anymore.
Hey, there's still crackheads.
If you want to give
There's
them,
still crackheads out in front of our local gas station and convenience store. We got a convenience store near us somewhere in some vague direction and an indiscriminate amount of distance away from us. Good luck, a city of 2 million.
I talked
It's
to
hundreds
I
of
talked to two
miles
of them
away.
today. I bought one of them cigarettes.
Yeah, and so we got crackheads.
we're actually in
still.
a silo right now. We're in a missile silo.
Yeah, that's what the cinder block walls are. You
Yeah.
fucking
No,
idiots.
actually, we're not even in the silo. We're in the missile.
I had my father seal the door shut 10 years ago, and we haven't seen
We did some
sunlight
real
since.
we do some real killdozer type shit in here.
We had 30 years
We're just
of food,
recording
water, and
ourselves.
cocaine.
We're recording ourselves going fucking mad like the killdozer
10
guy.
months ago, I made contact with the police for the first time in years, and I asked them if anything is specifically illegal if you're this deep underground, and he said, you can just kind of do whatever you want. He said, we can't get that door open, so
Yeah.
you're
You,
fine.
you
Yeah,
three
you-
aren't even
you could
real.
say-
You're figments of my
You're
imagination.
considered a sovereign citizen if you live underground.
That's exactly why the
I-
mole men are not bound by the laws of the surface.
I see the yellow fringe on your flag in this courtroom. This is a naval court. This is the corporation of the United States of America under the city of London, circa 1865. I know my goddamn rights. I know that this is a corporation, is no longer the nation. America has not existed. We have had 14 presidents.
What in the goddamn hell are you talking about?
I'm a sovereign citizen. I know my rights. I have the right to travel, and I have the right to watch Kevin Smith's Clerks and interpret it any which way I want, which is to idolize Randall's actions and mold my college persona based around him. Because freshman year, me in college definitely was just trying to be Randall. You guys, well, you didn't know me freshman year. You knew me sophomore year, but
Oh.
it bled into that.
I knew you freshman year. Yes, you were trying to be Randall.
Oh, 100%. I was a fucking prick. I was an asshole.
And if it makes you feel any better, watching this movie made me realize, oh fuck, I've been trying to be Randall the last couple of months. I should really rethink who I am.
All right, so everybody, pick one of the very minor side characters or customers in the movie.
All right,
that,
you go
that,
first.
that you personally identify with.
I'm the girl.
Shut the fuck up. You go first.
I'm the guy who asked for cigarettes after that whole ordeal with the candy with the gum salesman, and they pelt him with unlit cigarettes, and he goes, "Yeah, can I get a pack of cigarettes?"
Dude, the guy that I am is very it's very easy. If anyone knows me, I'm a horny bastard. It's dead ass the guy who's hanging out outside. He's like, try not to suck any dick on your way to the parking lot. He's just like, okay. He's like, yeah, you get back here. That's me. I was the guy who wouldn't get back there.
I'll put it real simple. Would you like to suck some cock berserker?
You want to give me some fuck best?
I'm the girl.
I fucking hate your guts.
Which one?
The one.
You a
okay.
misogynist? Are all women the same to you? What are you, a Kevin Smith character?
Who's the girl who fucks the guy?
All of them.
The girl who's fucking, she's there with the guy, and they're both ripping on fucking Dante. And then she goes and fucks the guy.
Jesse, you were that hockey player who was in boy mode.
No, yeah, I am the hockey player that was in boy mode.
No, Jesse, it's very apparent who you are. I said it while we were watching. You're the guy who goes, ooh, Navy SEALs.
Okay, so also,
Ooh, Transformers.
Yeah, no, I've dead ass been at the store with you before, or like been scrolling through Netflix with you, and you just go, ooh, and just say a thing.
Ooh, Bionicle.
Ooh, Bionicle Mask of Light.
Mask of Light fucks
Mask
so
of Light
hard.
kicks fucking ass.
That movie fucks.
I still have not
Straight
seen
up.
the second
Listen.
season of the Netflix Bionicle show.
Carrie,
wasn't
I've
even
never seen it.
wasn't even
That's
aware
a
they
thing?
made it. I
Yeah.
didn't
Bro,
know that.
You know what?
I knew Bionicle.
You know
so
what?
it
I'm just gonna
sucks.
say I don't care that you haven't seen the second season of the Bionicle Netflix show.
You know what? I'm just gonna say it. Fuck you.
You are self-reporting so goddamn hard right now.
I don't care. Do you
Damn.
see that empty Colt 45 bottle?
I love you. It blows my mind that you have felt the touch of a woman. Sometimes you say something, I go, damn, this man's been inside of multiple women. This is insane. Folks, if
Can
you're
I
ever
be honest?
worried-
Can I be honest? Can I be honest? I still can't really believe it. like sometimes I'll be mid coitus and I'll be like, "Are you sure about this? Like, are you like, you know, like, are you Are you sure? Like,
Now, see, if you notice, when Superman picks up a boat, the boat does not split in half. When the Hulk picks up a boat, the boat does indeed split in half. This means that Superman has the
Okay,
control of the
no.
force of the universe.
No, the person who does blow my mind the most sometimes, specifically, this relates to Kevin Smith because Kevin Smith is a huge comic book nerd and he does, in fact, love the CW shows and he's directed multiple episodes of The Flash and of Supergirl.
is this true?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep. And this is why it relates, but it blows my mind that Jacob has felt the touch of many women because this man fucking loves the CW shows.
Beautiful.
Just
They're great.
how? I just know that you've also sat women down and made moves on them while fucking like Legends of Tomorrow is playing.
Yeah. Riverdale gets you pussy. That's just a fact.
But you don't watch Riverdale.
I absolutely have seen the first 2 seasons of Riverdale, and everybody pushes. Everybody says, "No, I don't want to watch Riverdale." Why not?
Honestly,
What's it gonna hurt you?
That
You're
show,
afraid of fucking too hard?
Exactly.
that
you
show
afraid
is-
of teenagers kissing?
that show is kind of wild. I hear
Oh,
some,
it's
I hear some
absolutely
crazy
ridiculous.
shit about that show.
Wasn't it like the first season of that show is like, ooh, it's Archie, but he's fucking a teacher, and then the 5th season of that show is like, ooh, there's aliens and ghosts
No,
and
no,
demons.
it's so the most recent episode that has just happened. First off, it's wild that it all happens in a fucking hour-long TV episode.
Which, by the way, potential spoiler alert for Riverdale.
Yeah, if you give a fuck.
Yeah,
Also, spoilers for Clerks.
Okay, that's the premise of
Okay.
the
So
show.
long,
All right.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. But that,
Not
So
dignifying
that was
that.
bait. You just took it. Continue.
That's just you trying to recover your mistake
That's
now.
just
you.
that's just you derailing what we're talking about.
That's all that is. Okay, so the most recent episode of Riverdale. First off, Sabrina Spellman, specifically the Netflix Sabrina Spellman from the Sabrina, the Dark Adventures or whatever, or Dark Adventures of Sabrina.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yep.
That
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
That's
from,
Sabrina.
From the Netflix show, which is the Dark Adventures of Sabrina, the Teenage Witch. She is now in Riverdale because their two cities are across the forest from each other.
Of course.
And at this point, because of an apocalyptic event involving a fucked
Hell
up
yeah.
wish that occurs,
Yes.
half of the
Sounds like a
population of Riverdale dies.
Yes.
They get Thanos snapped out.
Amazing.
Honestly, dude, this is
In order to
I know
bring
one character escapes in a rocket ship at the end of one of the seasons.
No, okay, that part you're making
Hold on,
up.
hold
No,
on, hold
I'm
on, hold
not.
on.
I'm not,
And
absolutely.
in order to bring them back, they get a hold of Sabrina Spellman, and they're like, "We need to do a ritual." And rather than Sabrina going to all the witches that she knows, which is a town over, and bringing them there, she says, "We need to gather our own group of witches here." So who of the cast of Riverdale is a latent witch who are all, and they all get powers. And it turns out they're all witches, and then they all go to do a divine right. One of them has pyrokinesis powers. I think it's Betty might have pyrokinesis. No, it's not Betty.
Is it Jughead?
No, it's Ronnie. No, Jughead's dead. Jughead's dead.
I didn't know Jughead died.
Hold on.
Wait, do Josie and the Pussycats have witch powers?
No, they're all no.
That makes me sad.
But here's where it gets crazy. Here's what's because this. She then uses them to come together in a divine right in order to be able to send her to the great beyond, which is their heaven, right? And so she goes into heaven to go. Basically, she has to go talk to everyone who is dead and like convince them to get back into their bodies. Because she can't force them back. They have to decide to go back. And all of them are like, oh, thank fucking God. I didn't want to die yet. Although it's kind of chill knowing there's an afterlife that's pretty chill. Except for Jughead.
This is making me want to watch Riverdale.
Jughead's like, no, I want to have a career.
It's Pop's Diner. His version of heaven is Pop's Diner, but it's like the Archie comics. And he's even wearing the hat and everything and the blue sweater. And he's like... And he's like sharing a malt, and that's his version of heaven. And Sabrina's like, we need you to come back. He goes, dude, fuck that. I was a gang leader, drug addict. My dad like molested me. Do you think I want to go?
I'm pretty sure his dad was cool.
No, his dad was cool. He got molested by someone else or whatever. But like, the show's fucked up for no reason, by the way. But he's like, I'm not coming back. And she goes, I mean, I don't want to waste your body. And you're kind of hot. My demon boyfriend is dead and in hell. Can I put him in your body? And Jughead's like, I don't fucking care, dude. I'm in heaven. I don't give a shit what you do with my body. And she puts her demon boyfriend into the body of Jughead, and the episode ends with her fucking Jughead that has her demon boyfriend in it.
It's insane.
Okay, Randy.
The only thing I know, or I've seen the first 2 seasons of Riverdale, and this is the absolute funniest aspect of it to me, and it's a little fucked up. And this is gonna make people go, "What is this show?" In the first season, Archie is fucking one of his teachers, and they portray it as like no, she's been abused, and he's helping her heal. It's really
a teacher
fucked up.
molesting a student
wait,
the student is being responsible and helping her through her trauma.
They
That's what I
spend
did.
10 whole episodes talking about like how they have this romantic forbidden love and how it's actually really important and it's good for both of them. And like they go into all of it and she's like, no, she's not a pedophile and all of this stuff. And then the season ends and there's no resolution to that. And then I guess they were able to hear the waves and waves and waves of criticism. So season 2, the first episode of season 2 ends with her being killed and then somebody writing with her blood, pedophile. Just to unequivocally say, never mind.
Never mind, this was a bad idea.
All that shit we said
What the
before, never mind.
Okay,
Never
so-
mind, that's forfeit now.
So every show has
That's
some first season
insane.
goofs and gaffes. Fucking Hank in Breaking Bad in the first season, he had this weird cough all the time that they never addressed throughout the rest of the series. So I'm willing to chalk that up to just first season gaffes. Everything else that you said, Randy, makes it sound like the greatest show ever, and I need to watch it.
It is.
immediately.
It is. Unironically, I watched. See, this is where I'm going to show my ass a little bit. I'm a good son. I'm a good son. I'm like Kevin Smith or Kanye West or Hideaki Anno, whatever name they want to be referred to as that day.
One of these days,
I like,
they're
I'll
all
say real
three
quick,
going to be in
I
a
like
room
to think
together.
that Hideaki Anno is in a plug inside of Kanye West, and Kanye West is inside of a plug inside of Kevin
See,
Smith. But anyways,
I've switched
I'm a
over
good,
to them
like,
being Manny faces.
it's like those Russian dolls. What are
Huh?
those
I
called?
wonder what it might be similar to.
One of these days,
I wonder what it might be similar to.
One of these days, all three of them are going to be in a room together, and we're not going to know how to react, and so we're just going
It's
to.
fun. Okay, so I'm a good son, like all three of them, and I watched Riverdale with my mom, and I gotta be honest, it takes a while for it to get interesting. But once it gets interesting, it's insane. Because gentlemen,
I think the first season's insane.
gentlemen, no matter what you think you know about dramatic television, you will never know the dramatic highs and lows of high school football.
Yes!
You'll never know.
I swear.
I'm weird. Okay, I'm weird.
weird.
Look at this hat.
Look at this. Do you see this hat?
This is a Riverdale Stand podcast.
Yeah, actually, fuck Clerks, fuck Kevin Smith. We're on that Riverdale shit now.
Wait, what if Kevin Smith directed an episode of Riverdale?
It would be the
It's
greatest
just
piece of
every
media
character
ever
turns
known.
into Jughead. Every character becomes Jughead.
It would end the Russia-Ukraine conflict.
One of Kevin Smith's Flash episodes is fantastic, and then the rest of the stuff he's directed for those shows is just.
That sounds like Kevin Smith's batting
generic,
average.
Yeah.
You know what's my favorite thing about Riverdale?
Is it that Cole Sprouse?
It honestly
there is a
it's
zombie
KJ Appa's
episode.
face and body.
Yes, true. But there is a zombie episode where the drug going around in town that I can't remember, was it the Serpents or whatever, the name of the gang from the literal wrong side of the tracks.
Southside Serpents. I think.
Southside Serpents, yes. That at first are rivals to Jughead, but later, by divine right of being the son of his shithead dad, who
Yes.
used to be
He
the
gets the
founding
gang.
member.
He just gets the whole gang.
His dad was a founding member, so he becomes the gang leader.
I was screaming when that happened. I was like, "This is all I wanted from this show."
But they're like they get this like drug in from like the Mexican cartel that's like tainted, and anyone who takes it becomes a literal zombie. There's a literal zombie
I remember
apocalypse
that.
episode. It's fucking nuts. Everyone should go fucking watch Riverdale. I'm being honest with you.
The second season literally ends with the town devolving into a civil war over a serial killer.
It's so fucking nuts. It's so.
It's like
fucking nuts.
Halloween Kills, but better.
God, Halloween Kills. It just shows that you can't really do a revival years later and expect it to, or a sequel to a revival to a sequel years later. You can't do it and expect it to be good. Speaking of, Clerks 3 was announced.
It looks
and that
good.
trailer, no, it does
No,
not.
it looks good.
It looks
No, it looks good.
horrible. It looks like
No, it
ass.
looks good.
Okay, go ahead and elaborate right now, Drunkie.
I haven't seen a single second of the trailer, but it looks good.
Yeah.
I like
yeah.
Kevin Smith. It looks good.
Damn.
Yeah, I think it looks like dog shit.
It looks like
No,
absolute dog shit.
I'm sure it looks like fucking
Here's the
dog
thing. Okay,
shit. I'm-
here's the thing about Kevin Smith and his relationship to Clerks. The first Clerks, it is very much he's closely related to it. The second Clerks, he holds no relation to it at all, because the second Clerks is about all the characters who are stuck in a rut and are unable to move on with their lives and are still failures. Nothing is going right for them, and they're still self-sabotaging anything. There's a little bit there with Kevin Smith's life, but it doesn't draw enough parallels to it, and thus it's a little detached. It's fun. The second movie is fun. It's funny. It's worse of a movie, though, in my opinion. And then the third movie is going to be about them back at the Quick Stop, and after having a heart attack, Randall, just like Kevin Smith in real life, Randall decides he's going to make a movie about their lives at the store. Now, while this is very similar to Kevin Smith, what it should have been is it should have been Dante, for once in his life, is like the owner of a chain of convenience stores. He is like actually successful. He's like doing really well. He's living up to the potential that he had always had. And, well, sorry, let me rephrase this. The second movie should have been Dante's living up to the potential.
No, it should have been him. He's the manager or owner of one store.
Yeah.
And he's successful and people like him, but it's just like maintaining that.
Yes.
And then the third one is he owns a chain, but he's actually he's worse than he was.
Yeah, he's worse off than he ever was. And the ultimate
reviews are bad.
Yeah, and I'll say this:
Sales are
the
down.
silver lining for that should also be that like it doesn't matter, because at least now he's afforded the time and financial stability to spend with what really matters to him. It's not the store. It was never the store. It's with his family.
Yeah, Dante should have teenage kids.
Yeah. But that's what they tried to do with Jay and Silent Bob reboot movie, and it was fucking bad.
But Jay and Silent Bob shouldn't have kids.
No, they should not.
So here's my thing with
horrific.
with the new era Kevin Smith stuff. The new Jay and Silent Bob, I haven't seen. It look like shit. The new Clerks, I haven't even seen the trailer. I'm sure it's probably going to be bad. The thing that interests me the most about this is that this is just Kevin Smith making a movie with no oversight, no notes, entirely what he wants to make it. And I think that's interesting, because the sad truth is like those movies just don't really get made.
Yeah, but that was reboot too.
But that's reboot as well. That
Yeah,
was
no,
also
I'm sure.
Young
No.
Posers as well.
I'm sure that's reboot. I'm sure that's reboot as well. But it's still like interesting to see. Like I still kind of want to see it.
There's also Tusk as well in there, which is
And Red State.
Tusk is fucking awful.
Well,
But
Red
it's a
State, he didn't
very
get to make
interesting movie.
exactly how he wanted.
Yeah.
True.
Same with Red State, right?
That's what he
Yeah,
just said.
yeah. He just said
Oh, I
that.
thought you were talking about Tusk.
No, but like, I'm a defender of Tusk. I think Tusk fucks. I get why you don't like it. It's valid. I am a defender. I was a defender of Yoga Hosers when it came out. To be fair, like I did.
I
defend the
don't
movie.
even really see many Kevin Smith fans defending Yoga Hosers.
I did when it came out. But what I will say about like Clerks and like him making a movie he wants to make when it comes to Clerks 3, I think that's why I don't want to watch it. Because Yoga Hosers, he made it the way he wanted to make it. Tusk, he made it the way he wanted to make it. Red State, he almost made it the way he wanted to make it, but that was budget that kind of held him back. That wasn't even anything else. And then Jay and Silent Bob reboot movie, he made it the way he wanted to make it. And the thing is, he is someone who he's like, you know what? He's exactly like George Lucas. He's someone who needs to be fucking told no. He's someone who has great ideas, who can man a ship, but needs to be told you're wrong sometimes.
Well,
See,
Or you need to be scrappy and come up with a
Because
solution to fix
honestly,
this.
the thing that I've liked the most from Kevin Smith in like the past 10 years was his fucking He-Man show.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't even love that, but it was like, it was interesting.
He also
and it was
didn't
'cause he
have
was playing
full
by
control.
rules.
Yeah, he had to play by rules. Yeah, exactly. Or
Yeah,
like his
if
stuff
you
in the
want-
CW, he has to play by rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you want that, if you want basically someone to tell him no, and he's kind of and to tell him that he's kind of dumb sometimes, that actually kind of happened on the set of Cop Out.
Yep.
Bruce Willis apparently did not like Kevin Smith.
Well, that
very
was
much.
also different. That was,
Yeah. Also,
also-
he was even with aside from him being told no by Bruce Willis the entire movie, he also on Cop Out he openly has said to this day that like he did not try to have opinions. He said, "What will it be like if I just try to do it like a lot of my contemporaries do and just listen to whatever the producers say?" Whatever the executives say, I just do, and I try to make a movie exactly the way they want. And it was bad. Cop Out was bad. And so it shows that like he is important as a director. His influence matters. It's just he needs someone to smack him in the face. With Clerks, the thing that smacked him in the face is the fact that he is shooting on 16 millimeter film. He can only afford so many feet. Like he knew how much film he could afford going into it. He could not shoot any more than what he had. He was restricted to shooting only nights because he worked in the video store. That's why the shutters are like broken and closed down at the beginning of the movie, because he can only film inside the store at night.
When
So
the
he
store was closed,
when the store was closed, because they weren't going to close down the fucking store. He would have to pay them extra to close down the store for him, so he couldn't do that. So he had all these limitations. He was being told no financially.
Yeah.
And like he just does best with that. Even with like Mallrats, which was his first studio film, which was like a big deal because like I mean that was Universal. I'm looking at it right now. He was still told no because he was a relative nobody. He wasn't given free fucking reign with Mallrats. Chasing Amy works because it goes back to him going, okay, I didn't like working with a studio, so let me do an indie film the way I want to do it. And he's budget restraints again, and he's also dealing with bigger egos because he has like bigger actor friends who are more willing to work. And let's be honest, Ben Affleck will be up front with him and say, no, this ain't gonna work, or I'm not doing the scene like this, and he did. And
But
so,
Ben
like,
Affleck also will say yes to any project that Kevin Smith.
well,
offers
yes,
him.
because he loves him.
I really wish that we had gotten Mallrats.
And I personally, and we'll get into it when it like
Wait, what?
when it happens. But one like my personal favorite film of his is Dogma, and I think that strikes that perfect balance of studio and like other people telling him no, but him just being able to kind of do what he wants at the same time.
And
Yeah.
this is so fucking funny to me because apparently part of Cop Out was that he had just made Zach and Miri make a porno.
That was,
and he had
that was Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it
he's-
was him trying to do a Judd Apatow movie, which
and
back to what we were saying
he
before about
started
Judd Apatow.
that's when he really became a stoner from hanging out with Seth Rogen.
Mm-hmm.
And Seth Rogen then went on to write and make Preacher and The Boys. But Preacher, just the way the series is put together, at times it feels very different from the comic book, but it always feels similar to Dogma. And I think that's interesting. I don't know.
It's
I don't
an
really
interesting
think.
it's an interesting
Seth
parallel.
Rogen also wrote Green Hornet, which kind of feels like a Kevin Smith movie a little bit.
It does. It does feel like Kevin Smith movie. You can feel the influence on him. Just like I said, like we mentioned, Zach and Miri in general. Like that was him literally, and he said in interviews and in Q&As, I was trying to make a Judd Apatow movie.
Yeah.
I was like, and that's why people think that's Judd Apatow.
Which I respect.
Which yeah, and I think Zack and Miri Make a Porno is actually fun. I think it's like an average Judd Apatow movie. It's not amazing. I wouldn't put it on my top movies list, but I have fun with it. If it's on, I'll hang out and I'll watch it. It's fun.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I thought it was a Judd Apatow movie.
Most
until,
people
like,
do.
5
Yeah.
seconds ago.
Half the cast in that movie are people who are mainstays in Judd Apatow movies, but then you get what's his name? Who plays
Jason
Rain-
Mewes.
Jason Mewes.
Jason Mewes.
Isn't there an
it?
actual
No.
porn star in that movie too?
Jason Mewes with the Swedish windmill gag is hysterical. in
It
that
is
movie.
incredibly hysterical. And then you also have the dude who plays Randall. He's literally the cameraman who's
Yeah.
obsessed with hockey. Who gets like shit on. And, it's Zack and Miri Make a Porno. And of course his love of MC Chris.
Yeah.
Which that's
Backpacks, gadgets.
Boba the Fett. Yeah.
I think I also think what's interesting about when it comes to talking and discussing the career arc of Kevin Smith.
Bounty hunt for Jabba the Hutt. to
Jesus Christ, shut the
finance
fuck up.
my
Let him
bet.
talk.
Sorry.
Chewbacca.
You done?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so what I think is interesting when it comes to discussing the career arc of Kevin Smith is, right, and so you have the kind of the 2 phases of his career. Well, I guess I should say the 3 phases of his career. You have his sort of Miramax indie phase, which encompasses Clerks, Chasing Amy and Mallrats.
No, not Mallrats. That's Universal.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a studio film, not an indie film.
All right. Well, I should. His more indie films, I should say.
Yeah.
And I know Dogma was. That had a bigger
Was
budget,
that
right?
was that Paramount Dogma or was that Miramax as well?
I think it was Miramax because there's a story he has about Harvey Weinstein
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
with that movie. But then he goes on to make Jersey Girl, which if you watch that movie, it definitely seemed. We discussed this very briefly earlier. It definitely seemed like it's him basically trying to say, "Hey, I'm more of an adult now. I'm more mature. I'm not going to make those kind of movies anymore." And what was the general reaction to that movie? Jersey Girl was a huge bomb, pretty infamously.
People hated it. Yeah,
Pretty infamously, one of the Ben Affleck's several bombs in the early 2000s.
it's right there with Geely.
Yeah, and
Gobble, gobble.
and Daredevil, Pearl Harbor. Well, Pearl Harbor was a soft hit.
Yeah.
And so I think that the reception of that movie from just like the general audience and I guess the critics as well, that movie was critically panned. So the same critics and people who were championing him for like Clerks and stuff are now turning against him. I think it made him get a little like insecure, and he reverted back to his immediate follow-up. I think was Clerks 2. So he was like, all right, so clearly the answer
It might have
is-
been Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was the immediate.
It might be.
follow-up.
So essentially, he goes back to the View
I
Askew
think-
universe.
I don't remember which one came first.
I think because I think they referenced Jersey Girls and Jay and Silent Bob.
It's been. I honestly don't.
don't they
remember.
call Ben Affleck "you Jersey girl motherfucker" or something in that movie?
Yeah.
Which
they
doesn't
do.
make sense as well.
But-
Because then that implies that Kevin Smith is a person. I don't know. I could be.
Don't think about it
misremembering.
too hard.
Don't think about it. Don't think about it. But yeah, I don't know. It's yeah. You can kind of. It's unfortunate because you can track his view on himself as an artist and his confidence just go real downhill based on all of the reactions to his movies, everything he's doing. It's just a shame because like honestly, if you go back and you watch Jersey Girl, it's not amazing. It's just different. It's fine. There's some really interesting parts of that movie.
It's perfectly serviceable.
The school play scene is fucking definitely Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
It's because it's not like people often say it doesn't feel like a Kevin Smith film, which I disagree. It feels like Kevin Smith. It's just different.
I think one of the reasons why people say that is because it actually has a really I don't remember the guy's name, really like well-renowned cinematographer to shoot that movie. That's why it looks, as great as it does, and it doesn't look like any of his other movies.
Which are very DIY and like
It's
Yeah.
Emmanuel
like-
Lubitsky, right?
No, I don't think so. But like Jersey
I
Girl
just made
looks
that up.
like way more cinematic than pretty much any other movie he's ever made.
No, yeah. I mean, even like his two best movies, in my opinion, which are Dogma and Chasing Amy. I mean, they're fucking bog standard, handheld, indie, like fucking, or put it on sticks and it's shot reverse shot wide, and there's nothing interesting or special that happens. So like, yeah, no, that movie is probably one of his most visually interesting movies as well. Funny enough, I think the first Clerks film because it's so DIY, you almost get the sense he couldn't afford a tripod because there are scenes that you would just shoot on sticks that if you're looking, there's like wobble to it because he just has it on someone's shoulders.
Yeah.
Usually his own because I know that like he wasn't the cinematographer for that movie, but I know he wanted to run the camera. Okay.
I think I know he really wanted to be a filmmaker because he was he loved movies and that's very apparent when you watch his stuff.
He's more of a writer.
But when you watch Clerks, it very easily could have worked as a play. I mean,
Oh,
it's set in one location. Anyway, it's got a very small cast of characters.
Vignette structure makes it very simple.
It's just like I guess if the movie thing didn't work out, he could have potentially.
Yeah.
Well,
the other thing that makes it work too is if all of the actors are local New Jersey theater actors. I mean,
and his friends.
Yeah. Brian O'Halloran, he literally now today runs the local community theater in the town they're from. Like, that's what he just does for a living now.
Brian O'Halloran? Wait, who do he play?
Dante.
Yeah.
He plays Dante Hicks.
But like, I don't know. I kind of get where the decline comes from, and I don't think it's necessarily an insecurity. I think it's more so that he isn't really a visual filmmaker as much. He's more of a writer. His best movies rely heavily on the script. They're very funny, and his movies continue to be more or less funny. But one, he had kids, so his sense of humor softened over the years. But two, he kind of ran out of the stories that he was emotionally connected to. Like, those are his early movies.
It's a shame to say this about any artist.
Yeah.
But
it happens.
He got too happy.
Yeah.
It's like we say all the time with Chance the Rapper, please
and
do a drug so you can make a good album.
And
Kevin Smith, please.
Abandon your family, please.
Kevin Smith, please fall on hard times and hate yourself so that you get desperate to make something good.
Another great filmmaker has a very similar arc, Tim Burton. A director we'll talk about someday.
Yeah.
Well, Tim Burton's visually, like, that's his
sure.
thing.
That is the difference.
That is his whole
Sure,
thing.
but like I meant in the sense that like the decline in his movies
Comes with him being happy.
Yeah, he got married to
Yeah.
Helena Bonham Carter.
See, I think if I'm being honest, I think Tim Burton got lazy because he seems,
because he got happy.
But to me, it's
The
not.
difference is, but Kevin, the difference is Kevin
feel
Smith
like-
is a writer, and his inspiration comes from his personal experience in his life and his own actual hardships. Whereas Tim Burton is a visual director, and his inspiration comes from something else.
He's a visual director who is like does best when he's working with sets and practical effects, and then he makes the Alice in Wonderland movies, and he's like, we'll do it on a green screen.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Kevin Smith, the ultimate he just like me for real director though, because like he's such a film fan. It's why like so many people. I mean, everyone we know in film school, they were all like, "Oh, I'm a huge fan of Kevin Smith," or like, "I love Kevin Smith," or like, "Oh, I really love Clerks. It's such an inspiration," as we mentioned before. And you really get the sense that you could do what he did, or like it's accessible. And the fact that he's a writer, first and foremost, that's the easiest thing you can do to get into film, is you can write. You don't need any money to do it. You can just write, and you can just keep writing and trying, and you can still be an artist. Film is accessible at the end of the day, especially if you catch the eye of Harvey Weinstein, and he really thinks you're funny and he wants to help you out. And speaking of being funny and helping you out, hey, we're ending the episode here, but if you want to be funny and help us out, you can leave a funny review on iTunes and Spotify with a 5-star rating, or you can leave a funny comment down below on the YouTube video here. Drop a like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. We release a new episode every other week at Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the YouTube, and it'll be 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on that Sunday for the audio version on iTunes, Spotify, and Amazon Music, anywhere that podcasts are available. But yeah, we will see you all then. Peace out.
Affleck, you the bomb in Phantoms, yo.
Cyrax, I got shooters coming for your ass.
Shut the fuck up.